today. This is Shamatha meditation in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. And welcome everyone watching on YouTube. If you're joining virtually, first you can type your questions at any time if you have any questions, comments, and I'll check them when we get to our question periods. Also, surprise, you're gonna need a small object. So we're using a small rock. You can use a stick, pebble, rock, which you probably don't have. So you can use like the cap off of a bottle of water, bottle of oil, cap off a bottle of vitamins. You can use a mint, a Tums, a mug, a spoon, a salt shaker, any small object that you want to use as the object of your meditation focus. It doesn't have to be a rock. So get creative, and you can go get that now. It's probably a good timing. So, and then if you're here, again, in the very front row of chairs, you have a place to put your rock. If you're back further, I recommend, I can't really do it because if your legs are together, you can kind of put your hands like this, more in front of you versus directly on your lap. Because again, it's just the neck strain of having to crank your head too far down, because this will be our meditation object. So who here, raise your hand if this is your first time in this class, so you weren't here last week. And thank you for joining. Thanks for those returning. Of those who were here last time, did anyone try the resting their body, speech, and mind in their natural state at home? Good. I was going to mention that as kind of homework, but I'm glad some of you guys did. Of anyone who was here last time and either tried to practice at home or didn't, does anyone have any questions since the last time? Okay. So, like I mentioned, I'm going to suggest that for any of these meditations, we're only going to do these meditations once. Last week, the body, speech, and mind in the natural state, we'll do that every class, so we'll go over it a little bit, but the meditation we do today, we're only going to do it once. So I recommend highly that you meditate at home during the week. So like 3 minutes a day, 6 minutes a day, 9 minutes a day, 12 minutes a day. And also if you can split that up into twice a day, 3 times a day. The book we're using this class, Natural Liberation, talks about, especially in the beginning, meditating many times for short duration. So he's probably thinking like, many times of 20 minutes or something, but when you're building a new habit, it's totally fine to do 3 minutes twice a day, 3 times a day, 6 minutes. I was trained to go in 3-minute intervals when you're increasing or decreasing meditation, but there's nothing wrong with doing 5, 10, 15, 20. So that would make 3 minutes the shortest that you'd want to do when meditating. So this is the first week that we're going to be doing a shamatha meditation. So I want to give you guys like a formal definition of shamatha meditation. This isn't like the official definition, but this is one that works well for me. It's the intention to maintain the focus of your mental attention on a designated object. And object there is like subject object, it doesn't have to be a rock. Last week we did the focus of our attention on the movement in our body, the sound of the breath, the space of the mind. Those are all valid meditation objects. So I'm going to give you guys a quiz on the definition of shamatha. So if I sit down to intentionally focus my attention on the in and out breath, and I do that for 5 minutes, raise your hand if you think that's shamatha meditation. Okay. Does anyone want to say why they think it's not shamatha meditation? Because it is shamatha meditation. Because you're intending to focus, the object is your in and out breath, and you're intending to focus on that, and you defocus on that. So that one is shamatha meditation. And I won't know with these questions who is answering wrong and who's not participating, but that's just the nature of the beast. Okay, so I'm eating lunch, and I see a little bird fly down and land on a table. He's pecking away at the crumbs. I'm just really, really engrossed in the bird, and I give him my full attention for 5 minutes. Is that shamatha meditation? Okay. Why?
Well, it's not an object.
but it's not intentional, and it's not the designated object of my meditation. So if your concentration is just pulled by something, that's shamatha. That's just your attention going. So a useful analogy there is we said in the last class that part of shamatha meditation is like you've got this wild horse and you're trying to train the horse to be ridden and not just drag you around. So, because I've even heard some meditation teachers say, like, if you're really distracted by something, got a pain in your back, or there's a thought, to just meditate on that instead. But my analogy for that is you're trying to train this horse so you can ride it. So it decides it's going to go north, and you go, okay, I want the horse to go north. And so it goes north because, then it starts going west, and you go, okay, now I want the horse to go west. If you're just going where your attention goes naturally, you're not learning to control your attention. The horse just thinks, wow, I've got this announcer on my back that just tells me what I'm doing. So we want to designate the object of meditation ahead of time. That's why we're not going to use our cell phone. I've actually tried doing things like, I'm going to make watching TV a meditation practice. I'm going to try and make playing a video game a meditation practice. I've had no success with that because, again, you're just giving into your attention where your attention wants to go. If you can focus on a rock for a good length of time, that's training your attention. But it doesn't have to be a rock. It can be anything that you want it to be. But there are some skillful choices and unskillful choices. Okay, so here's another one. You sit down intending to focus on the rock, and you're very quickly distracted by a pain in your back. And so you're completely engrossed in that feeling, in that pain. You really focus and concentrate on it. And 5 minutes is up, and that's pretty much all you concentrated on. Is that shamatha meditation? It is, because you sat down with the intention to meditate on the rock. You started to meditate on the rock, and you were distracted. That's going to happen all the time, especially in the early stages. This is something that happened to me when I first started doing unguided shamatha. Is I would start with like a 9-minute timer, and I'd start, and then I'd be like, damn it, I forgot I was meditating. And then I didn't count it. I'd reset my timer, try again, go down to 6, go down to 3. I can't even get credit for a 3-minute meditation because I forgot I was meditating. It all counts. You sit down with the intent to meditate. It doesn't matter. If you spent 99% of your time distracted, next time it'll be 98, then it'll be 97, then it'll be 96, and you will make progress. Very, very slowly, but this is one of those things. If you might have a real knack for it, but this is one of those things that you can't really skip over. We'll be learning a lot of things that I hope will be helpful in your shamatha practice to make it go as quickly as possible and as effective as possible. But it does take effort to do this. Okay, so last quiz question. In the morning, you wake up and you say, I'm definitely going to meditate today. I'm going to meditate 9 minutes today. But you go through your whole day, you're super, super busy, and you never get around to it. Is that shamatha meditation? Okay, good. You guys all got that right. If you were a lawyer, you could get tricky with things. You said the intention to meditate, you have the intention to meditate, but hopefully you guys all see from common sense that does not count. I'm glad you guys all got that right. Okay, perfect. You guys all get an A. So last time we spent an hour learning how to do nothing. This time we're going to spend an hour learning how to stare at a rock. But there's more to it. I promise. We're not just going to look at a rock. Sorry, I scrolled too far. So this is actually one of my favorite meditations. Any meditation on a visual object. There's quite a few of them, like in the Theravada tradition. There's 10 meditation kasinas and other visual meditation objects. I like it because it helps you get out of your head. And there's kind of a contradiction here because I've heard Tibetan lamas and other meditation teachers say, we're too focused on the outside world. And what we need to do is spend more time focusing on the world within. And that's true in a way, But it's interesting, like for me, the things that I crave are in the external world. So as an example, I might crave a bag of Cheetos. I have if I have little snack packs of Cheetos in my house, forget it, they're dead. So I'm craving an object in the external world, but then I go get it and I'm chowing down on the Cheetos and my head is a million miles away from that experience. So even though I'm craving something in the external world, my mind is tied up, in the past and the future, not in the present moment. So even though our cravings and our desires are focused on the external world, we don't really, at least I don't have a good, my mind is up here and it's very helpful. And I find it very enjoyable to get my mind out into the external world. And that's why I enjoy external objects. You guys can also do sound meditation. Breath meditation is the sense of feeling, but you're still kind of in your body. Taste and smell meditations are kind of hard to do, but you can do them. You can burn some incense or mindfully eat. And it's just really good to focus on the external world. Because like I said, I get tunnel vision. I don't know if you guys have ever been driving and you're just focused on just enough attention to not crash, but your mind is somewhere else. Versus driving like cars, seeing terrain. With computer games, TV, cell phones doesn't make us gurus. It actually seems to have the opposite effect. Being able to concentrate on something that's designed to grab our attention, then when it's on, for me, it's like a measuring tape right back of my head. So another trick with focusing your attention on the rock. You can have your visual focus on the rock, but we need to also have our mental attention on the rock. So, for example, I could hold up my finger and I could have my vision focused on my finger. So my finger is in focus. Everything else is blurry, but my mind could be somewhere else. Or I could hold my finger over here. I'm not even looking at it, but it's the focus of my mental attention. So we want to put both of those onto the rock. And I'll give you a couple words of advice to engage your mind. So for one, rest your attention lightly. Don't like you're trying to move it with your mind. Also, watch it with interest. This is what works for me. Like I'll look at it like I'm interested in it. I know it's hard to get interested in a rock, but maybe you suspect that it's a beetle and it's in the skies, and at any moment it's going to wiggle, a little antenna is going to creep out, or it's going to twitch one of its wings, and you're going to catch it because you're really, really intently watching that rock. So don't just look at it. You really want to see it. And also, this meditation comes with a warning label. There's something called Troxler's fading. Our eyes are designed to jump around. If you're just looking at the same object, what happens with me is everything will start getting dark. Troxler's fading specifically is that things will start disappearing from your peripheral vision. You might not notice this. I think it's cool. I enjoy it. But if it gets uncomfortable for you, or if your neck gets uncomfortable or anything, you can always drop back to, and we'll cover this for the people who weren't here, but we'll cover resting body, speech, and mind in the natural state again. But you can always go back to that rest mode of resting your body, speech, and mind in the natural state. And 10 seconds, 20 seconds, you're still meditating, it still counts. And then when you're ready, go back and engage, and hopefully the visual hallucinations will clear up. So that's all I had to say about this first meditation. We're going to get into our meditation posture. I use 7-point Vajrayana posture. Other than my legs should be in full lotus, and they're not. So your legs, you can do whatever is comfortable. That's point one. You want your legs to be, for all this, you want to be in an alert posture, a relaxed posture, and a stable posture. So as long as you have those three things, do your best with those. And the second point is straight spine. The instructions in this book, you want to actually engage your core a little bit, your stomach in just a little bit. There's a catch-22 there that, too much tightness in the stomach and it's hard to breathe. So whatever's comfortable for you. You don't have to even follow that instruction at all if it's not comfortable. The third point is open heart. So I call it open heart. So instead of being like this, your chest is lifted and your shoulders are back a little bit. Then from there, let your upper arms just hang down naturally from your shoulders. And that gives you, so you don't want to be out, forward, or back. That gives you a range of motion with your hands. So one posture is thumbs at the base of the ring finger and face up on your knees or wherever your hands lay. You could do palms down, hand over hand, or hand over hand with the thumb ridge. Or anything else that's comfortable for you, but those are the standard ones. Then, okay, so that's point 4. And if you learn these by number, then you can sit down, like when I sit down to meditate, in my head, I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in that posture. 4 was hands. 5 is neck. So once you're in this kind of posture, you might actually find that if you tilt your head down a little bit, it kind of rests, it kind of stops. So you're kind of resting your head on your neck. So just that slight downward tilt is point 5. 6 is relax your jaw. And then the book says tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth. I find that uncomfortable. So I just relax my tongue. And then eyes open, unless the meditation instructions are otherwise. Eyes open and straight out of your head. So when you're resting your body, speech, and mind in the natural state, that's kind of the default. You can close your eyes if it's more comfortable. And then, of course, when we start meditating, we'll lower our gaze a little bit to be able to see the rock. So now you're on posture. Resting. We're going to start by resting body, speech, and mind in their natural state. So all you do is basically you do nothing. So no intentional movement of the body. Natural breathing and blinking are okay. Uncontrolled breath. Let your body breathe naturally. Don't overthink it. Just don't intentionally control your breath. Don't intentionally think. There'll probably be a lot of thoughts going on in your head, but just try not to contribute to them. And don't control your attention. So wherever your attention goes, just let it go. We're not trying to actually focus on anything. So that's kind of going to be our rest state. So let's go ahead and warm up with that. And then I'll guide us a little bit into the rock, and then I'm missing a very important accessory. Then I'll ding the bell and we'll get into meditation. So, okay, so rest your body, speech, and mind in your natural state. Okay, so now you can gently rest the focus of your attention on the rock. And again, a reminder, keep your eyes physically pointed and visually focused on the rock. Maintain your mental and physical and visual. Don't be distracted by thoughts, memories, emotions, daydreams. And if you are distracted, just gently return your focus back to the meditation object. And again, if either your neck starts to hurt or you're getting the troxels effect or things are getting too dark and you need a little break, then just come back to resting body, speech, and mind in natural state. So now everyone is in the correct posture and gaze, and we will do this for 6 minutes. If your mind is wandering, even if you're looking at the rock, returning the attention of your mind to the rock. You might want to check in with your posture briefly and adjust as needed. And again, if you're uncomfortable, feel free to rest your body, speech, and mind in their natural state, and then come back to meditation. You guys can slowly come out of your meditation. And would anyone like to share how it went? Yeah, that's right.
I was imagining the journey that it took to get from where it came from to sitting across the sea from me.
Yeah.
I know the journey that I took, I was picturing maybe two scenarios where it might have got ripped out of a quarry, by man, in the back of a dirty truck, and never saw the light again, maybe till it got polished up. And then I was thinking another one where it might have just naturally fallen off and ended in a river, sun basking on it as it tumbled down the stream, and eventually somebody picked it up and brought it to me.
So would you say that's interesting. So would you say your mind was focused on the rock spatially or conceptually?
Conceptually.
Yeah. Okay. It's interesting. I should have specified. Next time, try to focus on your mind on the rock and the space of the rock, the shape of the rock. I love that you said that, because I really should have specified that in the meditation instructions. And I guess you kind of discovered, your own take on that. The conceptual rock meditation.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyone else?
It's super hard. The rock kept moving.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's not moving.
Mhm.
My eyes would shake.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, it sort of got dark around there.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I would try and focus on an area, it sort of jumped.
Yeah.
So it was really difficult. And I felt my eyes getting really tired.
Uh-huh.
Like I just wanted to close my eyes. So I was really trying hard to keep my eyes open.
Yeah, not many meditations come with a warning label, but our eyes are used to just, you don't even notice. It's called, I don't know how to pronounce the word, SACCADES, it's shades, something like that. But it's these tiny little movements that our eyes make all the time. And if our visual cortex is used to it, and if we just focus on one thing, then weird stuff starts to happen. And it's funny that it doesn't seem to happen. I can be looking at my computer screen for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And that doesn't happen. So it's really interesting. And I don't know, maybe when I'm looking at my computer screen, my eyes are doing that. So, okay. Do you have?
Oh, I kind of went into spiritual journey. As soon as meditation started, I said hello and started making conversation, and I realized that it's a conceptual. Their response, it's responsible probably what I'm thinking perhaps.
Yeah.
So I switched to observing this rock and then finding it's got a face that doing like that in my smiling. So I decided to focus. I will not miss when it's, like you said, something like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that was a good guidance for like how I can pay attention, like hold attention to like something might happen there.
Yeah.
And I will not miss that moment.
Yeah, I'm glad that worked for you. Yeah, because the challenge here is to get first the challenge of looking at the rock can be a challenge in and of itself. And then to get our mind out of our head and actually try to rest the attention of our mind on something outside of our body, I think is a fantastic meditation. Okay, anything else? Yes.
What's your experience of what's your experience when you look at that rock?
Oh, when I look at the rock, I think I said this earlier, but everything gets dark.
Okay.
And again, I watch it, like I advised, I watch it like I really think it's going to move. I don't see it move. The other thing that I see is after longer meditations, and I really enjoy this, is I'll see a halo appear around the object, like a bright halo. And the first time that happened to me, I was like, wow, am I going to start seeing halos everywhere? Am I enlightened now? But that's just edge detection in your brain going on overdrive. Another interesting thing that I've had is meditating on a glass of water, because in Theravada you try to represent the elements, and the glass of water completely disappeared. I mean, it was still there, but then you're like, wait, did I just make that happen? But no, it's just a hallucination. So did that answer your question? Yeah, thank you. Okay, anything else? Yes.
So the rock should physically be right in front of us, or can it be?
Whatever's comfortable.
By the side,
Whatever's comfortable for you.
Just focused on it.
If putting it to your side is more comfortable for you, that's fine. When I was sitting, the most comfortable position I found was putting it, legs up and then on my legs in front of me. But whatever you find comfortable, it's just the neck strain. We're not doing this meditation long enough to where you're going to get really bad neck strain. But like if you're trying to look straight down, that's really hard. So whatever's comfortable. And anything else before we move on?
How do you, I had a song in my head and I couldn't stop it, so I just let it go as I was looking at the rock. But
Okay.
do you have a trick for stopping that? Or
Sound in your head?
like the jukebox that my mind is playing?
Yeah. Be careful what you listen to. This is something that I actually practice. If I listen to a lot of like catchy pop and then I sit down and meditate, then you get that playing in your head. Best way to not have that is to not listen to those songs in the first place. And I know that sucks. But like in like the monks and stuff, they don't listen to music at all. because it's, I mean, I assume that that's part of their rigid, their austerity or whatever, but it's interesting that certain kind of music, like rap music and stuff, or pop music, you can really get that stuck in your head, and it can be annoying. I'll even get, because I work in the Buddha for You, and I'll get their like elevator music versions of their songs stuck in my head. And like that, it's the Madonna one that they have, and then I'm like, crap, I go through all this effort to not have, and now I've got the elevator version of some Madonna song stuck in my head. But that's the only advice that I have. If it's already there, then you just have to do your best to. We'll actually get to a technique that might help you with that later on. I've actually never tried it with a song in my head, so you can be the first. Okay. Anything else? Oh.
I have something to say on the song in your head thing, because I've actually been dealing with that too. And today I just gave myself like an hour before I came in without listening to anything, and that helped a lot. Because usually I like walk here with my music on, and then it's like there's no time for the mind to settle before you try and meditate. So that's just my like literally today experience. So yeah.
Thanks for that. Another thing that just popped in my head is that I'll do, if not here, you can't do it, but if you turn on some music, so I'll do like Sybient or ambient electronica, where you can put like classical music, anything that you're actually listening to will override, hopefully, the song that's in your head. So you can at least some, pop song that's really distracting, you can replace it with something that's more soothing. But only if you're in a situation where you can play music.
Isn't that kind of like antithetical to the way that the mind works, though? That you're trying to fight it or like compensate with something else rather than actually just accept it and let it move through?
I could see either of those as valid. If you don't want to be distracted by it. So sometimes meditating with distractions, if it ruins your meditation, you know what I mean? Like if you're at a point where you can do that, then fantastic. If you're at a point where you're not able to, you know what I mean? Like it's like you're trying to lift a weight that's too heavy for you. If you can lift it, great. If you can't, then sometimes there's skillful ways that you can, reduce the heaviness of the weight, and you can actually get some reps in. Thanks for the question. Anything else? All right, thanks guys, that was great. So, next topic is, in Shamatha meditation, there's said to be 9 stages before you reach the state of Shamatha. There's a really great diagram of this guy, and he's got a monkey, and he's got an elephant, and it looks kind of like Donkey Kong. He goes up, and then he turns, it comes up, and he goes like this. He's going through all the 9 stages of Shamatha. And there's all these symbols of what he encounters along the way. But the ones that we're going to focus on is in the beginning, there's the monkey and there's the elephant. The monkey represents restlessness and agitation. The elephant represents laxity and it's not lethargy, it is dullness, laxity and dullness. So the way to think of it is, say I'm looking at the rock. If I find it easy to look at the rock, but then my attention wants to jump here, jump there, that's a problem of too much energy in your mind, and so it's too hard to contain it. The dullness means like maybe you're really tired, you're really sleepy, you're really bored, and it just like takes a pushing of this elephant to try to do the meditation at all. So in the first stage of Shamatha, and you guys might be way beyond that, but I'm starting at the beginning. First stage of Shamatha means that you can follow the meditation instructions, you can engage the object with your mental attention, even if only for an instant. And if you're immediately distracted, that's fine. You've reached stage 1 Shamatha. So I imagine you guys are all there or further. In the first 3 stages of Shamatha, they're dominated by thoughts are characterized, the manner of how you experience your thoughts is characterized like a cascading waterfall. Thoughts just come. And that means that you're being the dominant characteristic of your meditation is the monkey, the agitation, the restlessness, the jumping off the object. If you're really tired when you come into meditation, maybe you just need a nap, or maybe you're further along the path but just being sleepy isn't really, it doesn't mean that you're past the agitation stage if you're generally sleepy. But when you get to the point where you really can focus on the meditation object for long periods of time, and then it's the boredom, the tired, where it just gets harder and harder and harder, that's when you're in a further stage of shamatha where you have to deal with the elephant. But today we're going to be dealing with the crazy monkey that jumps all over your head and pulls your attention with it. So at that stage, you can expect to be, in stage 1, shamatha, you can expect to be frequently and completely distracted. You'll be meditating, and then next thing you know, you're thinking about dinner, you're thinking about tacos, and you go, how did I even get from one moment I was meditating and now I feel like I'm not, and how did I even get from point A to point B? So it's like someone just threw a bag over your head, and now all of a sudden you're in the forest and you have no idea how you got there. So I do see some nodding heads, so it's good to know that this isn't completely away from everyone's experience. So we're going to learn a technique called relax and return. So basically, the mistake that you can make is you think, oh, I lost my attention. I need to now bear down harder. I need to try harder. I'm a bad meditator. That just makes the monkey more agitated. So it's like you're saying, okay, this monkey keeps jumping around. I'm going to grab him. I'm going to wrestle with him. I'm going to force, I've never heard of anyone have success with that. I tried that for someone, and even before I was into Buddhism and meditation, I didn't know any better. That was how I tried to do it, and I never made any progress. So, maybe someone out there in the world is strong enough to pin the monkey down. But the way we do it, the recommended way to do it is you want to basically, pet the monkey, calm the monkey down, good monkey. So what we're going to do, so just as you can do this with me if you want, but if you can tighten up your fist and you can relax it. We all can tighten. So physically, we all know how to tighten. We all know how to relax. Mentally, we may or may not have that skill. But it's sort of like you get home from, you have that skill. It's a question of, do you have that skill on command? So you get home from a long day of work, you crash down in your favorite chair and you go, ah. Okay, that's what we're talking about. You're relaxing your mind. You're taking your energy down. Or same thing if you get into a hot tub or a bath, and just you let go and you relax. So we all know how to do it, and it's a skill we need to bring into meditation. So when you realize that your attention is drifted, this doesn't affect how you meditate. It only affects how you respond when you notice that your attention is drifted. Rather than just immediately try to double down and bear down with more effort, you just relax for a second, and then you bring your attention back. Another note I had here was, lighten up. Don't take the meditation with such a sense of severity. It really is a game of time and not a game of how hard can you push. But again, some of these techniques that I'm going to try to teach you, they may work for you, they may not, but hopefully they help make, like working out smartly versus working out poorly. It's still going to take a long time to build your muscles. So we're going to do another brief 6-minute meditation on that technique. So now you guys can get into your posture, hopefully without guidance. And again, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 works great for me. Once you have them memorized. And now go ahead and rest your body, speech, and mind in their natural state. And then we're going to meditate. When I ding the bell, go ahead and start meditating on the rock. And we'll do that for 6 minutes. And if your attention, your mental attention has focused away from the space of the rock, including to a conceptual space about the rock, return your mental attention. Relax, and then gently return the focus of your mental attention to the space of the rock.